Today I'm making Wolverine's claws out of cardboard. Throwback, right? For this build, I use cardboard, wood, hot glue, safety gear, scissors, razor pens, and a box cutter. Now for this build, you're gonna need some adamantium ingots. Kidding. It's cardboard. All you really need is cardboard. Maybe paint, maybe, but you know, you're clever about it, you can get away with it. First, I broke down some boxes. So the hardest part about this build was just deciding what I was gonna make it out of. Typically, I work in foam, and another part of me wanted to sculpt it, particularly out of wood, because I just picked up a scroll saw, and then shellac it, polish it up real good, and make a mold out of it, so the blades would all be identical, and then I could cast it in various different types of materials for any possible scenario. And then I realized that I could have made these things 10 times over by now if I just got started. Not to mention, not everybody has access to such specialized materials. So today, I'll be using cardboard, specifically from Diet Coke boxes. Product placement, I wish. Would love some of that sweet, sweet Diet Coke money. Subtle. And you know, I'm not even typically big on soft drinks, but see, I just moved and my coffee maker did not survive the fury road that is I-90. Thanks, Buffalonian subcontractors. Yeah, just throw a styrofoam in the back of the open flatbed. I don't need to tie it down. It can withstand 80-mile-an-hour wind shear. And so passes the battle car Galactica. Anyway, circling back around, I'm clearly a caffeine addict. Witness me!
What's wrong with you?
I just discovered energy drinks! And soft drinks at least stave off the shakes until they cause their own. It's a delicate balance. But Diet Coke, specifically, the packaging has a backdrop of dull metallic, so it's perfect. Couldn't get away with that with Mountain Dew, you frickin' hippies. Tie-dye, and it negates the need to paint, which honestly would have added days to the build if I'd used my usual materials. The foam being so absorbent. I mean, I love it, but you just gotta do so many layers when you're forced to paint when using foam. So it's like, do I have time? No, I don't. It, let's make it out of cardboard. And even with cardboard, you can avoid painting altogether just by using foil tape, which will give a more reflective look. And in real life, you know, if you're going out, if you're gonna show up at a place wearing this, it might look better. But I'm usually doing stuff with blue or green screen, and the reflections create problems in post, not to mention the possibility of catching the reflection of the camera. Looking at you, doorknob in the Matrix. The last box that I broke down was not Coca-Cola, because it's just for the template, so it really doesn't matter. The template is a stencil that I'll be using to make each blade so that they all come out identical, like identical proportions. This will be available, linked in comments down below. Honestly, even if your first try has mistakes in it, all of them having the same mistake will look more pleasing to the eye than if you made them one by one, slowly getting better each time, you know? Because there would be obvious variation from one blade to the next. So just make a stencil. So I was hoping to be able to cut it all in one piece, but there's not enough blank silver on the other side to work with. So work with what I got, and I guess that other half is gonna have to be flanging. Although in retrospect, it might be easier to make the blades in all one piece and then paint them individually. I guess it all depends on how quickly you need the prop, you know? And I've been kind of busy this month. I left a lot of extra flash on the outside of the trace line to use as flanging. Oh, by the way, if you've ever seen the episode of Friends where Phoebe freaks everyone out on an airplane by claiming that there's something wrong with the left flanging, all flanging is it's a folded over bit of cardboard that's used as a gluing surface. Like, you know, the writer was talking to a prop guy and just not listening to anything, not comprehending anything he was saying, but just heard a word he'd never heard before and was like, okay, that's the one. We'll throw that in there. That sounds stupid, but a smart guy said it, so it creates just enough possibility that the individual knows what they're talking about. Learn what words mean so as not to be manipulated by idiots, you know? Be informed, be prepared. Most manipulators are idiots. They're bad at it. Don't be fooled by a fool. Be ready for every conceivable situation. Be prepared. Okay, Flying United, I have my mouth guard, my first aid kit, my boxing gloves, we're all good. Curse you, poet! Fly Boeing. Boeing, the noise you'll make when you hit the ground. I may have a buddy who works for Northrop. Maybe, possibly. Then I flipped the template and made 6 duplicates. It's for the other side. It's like there's 6 claws, so you need to make 12, mirroring each other. I know it's annoying to like the people who've watched more than one of my videos that I keep saying this over and over again, but you know, you would not believe how often I get angry comments from people going, "You only showed me how to do half of it." Oh, Eagleton. It's like, I can't. You are too dumb to be a multi-celled organism. I didn't leave any flanging on those because it's not necessary. Honestly, for this particular prop, barely need any flanging at all. You could probably get away with not having any. I just want an excuse to take pot shots at Boeing. Like, if you've ever flown, you'd understand. Last plane I was on was literally coming apart at the seams. I call the stewardess and I'm like, hey, miss, I'm seeing something, so I'm saying something. She's like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of worried about it. Well, is there anything I do? Count me free drinks? And that's how you get free drinks on United. You're welcome. Once all the pieces were cut out, I began gluing them together. In addition to the cardboard, I put coffee stirrers in between the cardboard panels to strengthen them. I mean, to the extent that they won't flop around, you know? Also because I may have dropped a box of coffee stirrers in the parking lot and was like, well, these are useless now. Unless, yes, this is how you do this. This is the professional way to do this, and totally not me trying to save $4. I hot glued that in there and then weighted it down with metal blocks, both to keep it in place and to get the glue to solidify faster. Metal draws the heat out. When the glue solidified, I removed the blocks and then used the side cutters to trim off the excess coffee stir that was sticking out the back. I also put some in the grip portion, just because that area will experience the most stress. Not only just from like gripping it, but if you wear this particular prop to a con, like a convention, and you're wearing that all day, then like the salts in your sweat is going to damage it. You don't think about how physically taxing cosplaying is until you take off the costume at the end of the day and see the salt lines from where you physically sweated out all of the minerals in your body. Then I glued the opposite side on top of the assembly. After that, that's not a soundboard. I just read it like I was reading it for a soundboard. Great read, Jake. After that, better. I put more blocks on top of it to get it to cool faster. And then I folded over the flanging. Now, admittedly, I left way more flanging than I needed to, but it's better to have too much rather than too little. It's always easier to trim rather than build back, you know? Having said that, I did use some of the flanging, like 10% of it to make the top edge. Once the top was glued down, I trimmed off the excess. And there's a test fitting, just with the first one. So if I find that I need to make changes, I don't have to do them to each and every single one further down the line. You know, nice. There are some imperfections in the cardboard that are built in. You're meant to perforate them to create a handle so that you can carry them to a barbecue or a cookout, whatever. I couldn't get around those, so I'm arranging these so that the imperfections are all facing the interior, where they won't really be visible due to the blade next to it. Then I put wooden dowel sections in between the spaces of the blades to space them out a bit. Okay, now this is where I get asked for precise measurements a lot, and that will vary from person to person, much like Soylent Green. I got skinny fingers, so I can get away with IKEA furniture feet, but if you're a boxer or a construction worker, just cut the sections from a dowel. You do what works for you, you know? I hot glued those together and spaced them with metal blocks to hold them in place while the glue set up. Now when they dried, even though they're solid, Velociraptor air quotes, they're surprisingly flexible. So I needed to add spacers to keep the claws evenly spaced. That's great verbiage there. Way to go, English lit. Call myself William Shakespeare, can't even words right. It's not something that you think would be an issue, but it is definitely an issue. And you can fix it with the puzzle pieces that we all usually just throw away. Hey, we got some EVA foam in this build. Nice. I just trim them a little bit, and that will keep them spaced. And then wash, rinse, and repeat. For the other hand, if that wasn't clear, because humans have 2 hands. Actually, not a guarantee with prop makers. Just saying, you know, we work with blades. Accidents happen. And that's how to make Wolverine's claws. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, I'd like to thank my patrons. These videos just wouldn't be possible without the support of my patrons. So if you enjoy these builds, want to see more of them, and want your build request to carry a bit more weight, then think about heading on over to the Patreon page, where you can enjoy ad-free early uploads. Anything you can pledge goes towards improving the video quality and shop equipment, as well as allowing me to put together bigger and more exciting projects for you on the channel. Alright, hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified of the future uploads, because it's kind of at a totally random schedule. And let me know what other props you'd like to see me make in comments down below. Thanks again, happy crafting, see you later!